Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 1st. That means Spooktober is finally here. It's in full swing. I could not be more excited. There are a ton of spooky games that I want to play on the channel this month. I'm already making preparations for different haunted houses. I decorated a little bit over here with some adorable Halloween decorations. And one of the games that I definitely want to try that I still haven't done yet, even though I was really excited to get it, is Deathmark. So I'm going to be checking this out. I'm not going to be streaming it. It's just a game that I want to play to freak myself out before I go to bed at night. Shaboinky boink. Neo, hello, how are you? But today, what I wanted to talk about specifically were some ways that you can frighten yourself. I thought that because, Halloween is rapidly approaching, October is typically a pretty creepy month, right? Horror movies start coming out, haunted houses start popping up all over the country. The Spirit Halloween stores start taking over every vacant CVS within like a 30-mile radius of you. That it would be a good time to talk about, some of the things that you could do to kind of freak yourself out a little bit on your YouTube channel. And that's the thing, none of these are overtly terrifying, right? They're just things that are designed to get you a little bit uncomfortable, that's all. Neo says, Josh, we have a problem, my man. What's the problem? Hitman says, you're late. I'm 5 minutes early. What are you talking about, Rob? So, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So one of the first things, and the thing is, I think that one of the most scary things is getting uncomfortable, right? And I think a lot of things that hold people back is, just being willing to, kind of take a risk, get outside of your comfort zone a little bit, right? So what I wanted to try this morning was to talk about, I'm busting your chops. I was about to say, I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not late, I'm super early today. Actually, I should point this out before we get started. I'm going to have to take off in about 30 minutes. This is going to be a shorter stream than normal today because I got some work stuff that I got to deal with that requires me to go in a little bit earlier today, but I didn't want to miss the first day of October, so I was like, should I just not do the stream today? But ultimately, what I decided on doing was just cut it a little bit short. So, you stream as Dragon Quest and I missed it live. Well, I mean, it's still there. It's still up. You can go watch it after the fact, Neo. But one of the first things that I think you should try, and this is something that obviously I've been doing here, and you've heard me just beat this horse to death, but try making a video with zero post-production, zero planning, just off the cuff. Right? Something you're really excited about on your channel, just make a video without overthinking the whole thing. And you don't even have to put it out, on YouTube necessarily. You can just send it out on Twitter or something like this. There have been a few people I've talked to recently where I, basically advocated for them to do this. Because one of the things that became a real problem for me was that I was spending so much time overthinking production that I wasn't really putting anything out, or I would be like, it's not perfect, so I can't do it. And I kind of fell into the same thing that I preached against. So I think one of the things you can do, if you want to challenge yourself this month and do something spooky and outside of your comfort zone, just pull the trigger. If you've been thinking about a great video idea, or if you've had a few video ideas, but you haven't done it yet because you're worried, like, you don't have the equipment to make it right, or if there's some other external factor that you're waiting on, or if you're like, this is, just something that I don't feel like I'm equipped to do yet, if you can talk into a camera, if you can be seen clearly, if you can be heard clearly, just pull the trigger and make a video and put it out. Don't worry about post-production. Don't worry about getting the lighting and everything perfect. Just put something out and don't be afraid to do it. Caitlin, good morning. How are you? Yes, I'm a little early today because I'm going to have to end it a little early, unfortunately. Also, I thought you might appreciate the thumbnail that I used today. I have no idea what to do for Halloween, to be honest. Actually, that's something else that we're going to be talking about in a few days, I think. I have another video that's ready to go for that, but today I want to stick with the spooky or scary challenges for YouTubers thing. So yeah, that's something scary that you can do. It's a little bit uncomfortable, and if you're somebody who is a planner, like I am, somebody who likes to really be nuanced and detailed about the work that you put out, it can be a really terrifying thing to be like, you know what, I'm just going to wake up today, make a video, and put it out. And I think it's worth challenging yourself. Beck, hello, how are you? Good morning to you, Quicksand. Thank you for stopping by, dude. So the next thing that I would say, and it's actually still within the realm of making videos, is to make a video that is a completely different format than what you would regularly do. And the reason I say this is because there's a completely different kind of comfort where it's not that you're uncomfortable making videos necessarily, but you've become so accustomed to or so comfortable with whatever you've established for your channel that you become terrified to try something new. Now, whether that's because you think that you can't carry a new format, or whether you think that your audience won't like the new format, or whether it's just going to take more time than what you would normally do, whatever it is, try something that's completely outside the norm. Like, let's say that you do a Let's Play channel, and all you ever do are Let's Plays, but it's focused within a very particular niche, right? There's nothing wrong with trying a different format, like trying a list video, or an impressions video, or a review video, or just doing a news video about things that you think are coming down the pike that are particularly exciting for whatever type of gaming you explore, whether it's mobile, console, PC, a particular genre, like sci-fi and fantasy games, or adventure, or RPGs, or whatever it is. But that's something else that you can do, is to just step outside your comfort zone in terms of just being very comfortable with the content that you make, because sometimes what happens is you get so sucked into a particular video and the way you do it, it almost feels like a factory, right? You're just sort of doing the same thing day in, day out, and it's not overly exciting, and you might think that you just can't make any other type of video, but I would say that that's something else you can do that's a little bit uncomfortable, right? To explore some new territory. And in a way, again, you could say that that's what I'm doing with this video format. It's not that I hadn't done live streams on the channel, but if you told me, hey, you can't do any pre or post production, you can't do the same type of videos that you normally do, you have to only live stream for the next 90 days, that was an incredibly uncomfortable proposition, but I forced myself to do it, and ultimately I found a lot of really cool things, not only about the channel at Macro, but about myself and the kind of things that I love doing. And in that regard, I think that whenever you're willing to kind of take a leap of faith and try something that's a little bit different, trust that your audience isn't going to freak out or anything like that, trust that you're not going to freak out because you're trying something completely new and out there, you might find something, learn something new about yourself, your channel, and the kind of stuff that you like to create here on YouTube. Cynthia, good morning, how are you? Eat children and dress up like candy? That went 0 to 100 real quick. Ken says, I'll probably talk about Luigi's Mansion games on my channel around Halloween of next year, depending on how well things are going at the time. Great time for it. I'm very pumped for Luigi's Mansion coming out at the end of this month. I will definitely be playing that. Shaboinky Boink also, at first I thought that said eat chicken. I was like, I would have, but nobody wanted to see the KFC game last night. They all wanted Dragon Quest XI. Matt, good morning. How are you today? Thank you for stopping by. I am doing quite well, sir. I appreciate you taking the time this morning. Well, morning for me. For you, it's probably closer to, what, noon right now? I think I've tried all options that are open to me. You've tried every single video format ever. I find that hard to believe, Neo, because there's a lot of different video formats out there. There are countless options you just haven't explored enough. 10 p.m. for you. Wow, you missed. That's kind of late, actually. It's not YP2 in the mornings at all for you then. Beck says, I voted for KFC. Don't worry, I'm still going to do the KFC game. I just might have to wait till November, because this is a month for spooky content. I know in Australia you guys aren't big on Halloween, but here in the States, we love it. Good morning, Bub, and all the YP2 subscribers and viewers. I don't know why that got docked. Let's see. Think I'm planning on doing a full week of horror games. Ooh, what horror games are on your lineup? Just curious. Quicksand says, I was thinking about doing an exploring video. Maybe check out the Moonville Tunnel. That sounds super awesome. You should do that, Quicksand. And then you should link me on Twitter when you do so I can check it out. So happy I got to join your stream. 1303 here. I'm assuming that means 1 p.m. I think that's what it means. We don't celebrate the Pumpkin Festival here. You guys are missing out, I'm telling you. Australia, get it together. Halloween is magical, and you guys would love it if you just gave it a shot. So those are two things right off the bat. Make a video off the cuff. Don't overthink it. Just make something and put it out and see what happens. It's scary, but it's thrilling, I think. Next would be to make a video that's completely outside of your comfort zone or the normal content that you put out, just to kind of see what happens. And some of that sort of keys off of what Sean Cannell of Think Media says, that small tweaks get big peaks, basically taking the position that sometimes it's not that you need to make a big sweeping change on your channel to see results or to see something cool and new happen. It's just a tiny tweak to what you're doing already, right? So if you're already in the habit of making pre-produced video on a regular basis, maybe tweak the format a little bit and see if something cool happens on account of it. Next up, and this is going to be super uncomfortable for some people, and it's super uncomfortable for me sometimes, and that is start a conversation with a new follower, a new subscriber, another YouTuber, or ask another YouTuber to collaborate. Some people, they love getting followers, they love getting subscribers, they love, the growth that gets reflected in the numbers, but they're terrified of the actual connection with somebody. And sometimes that connection is the thing that can absolutely make a huge difference for your channel. If I hadn't connected with Austin, I never would have been able to speak at the Southeast Game Exchange. If I'd never connected with Fabian and Adrian, I never would have had people to run around with and have fun at E3 this year. There's a lot of value to just connecting with another human in a real way. So I think that's another challenge that you could take on for yourself, is just to start a conversation with somebody you don't even know, like a complete stranger, whether that's somebody on YouTube, whether it's somebody in real life who is also on YouTube or something like that. Obviously you don't want to creep people out or anything, but I think that oftentimes it's very intimidating to reach out to another creator, especially if you're on this platform the way I was, where I was a social hermit for a very long time, and I was completely unwilling to connect with people in that way. But once I started doing it, that's when I met a lot of you in the chat, like Jay and ES Addict Tolo. Working, but gonna leave the stream on. Appreciate it, man. Is there no pumpkin emoji? Yes, there are. Now many pumpkin emojis are popping up. Oh my goodness, there's so many. That sounds great. Would love to collab with as many people as possible. See, that's the thing. I'm not out to collab with as many people as possible. I'm out to collab with as many good, relevant people as possible, right? Like, I don't collaborate for the sake of it in most cases. But, if you're somebody who's, again, I don't care if you have 1 million subscribers or 100 subscribers or no subscribers at all. If you can singularly do something kind of awesome and you're a good dude or good lady dude, I'm down. Absolutely down. But yeah, I think that that's, just... And it doesn't have to be anything major, right? You can just leave a comment on somebody else's video who you've never left a comment before and just say, hey, good job on that video. What do you think about this? Ask somebody a question. See if you can get a conversation going with somebody online. Because this, and the reason I think that this is such an important challenge, maybe one of the most important on this list that I've got here, is because this is one of the things that held me back for a long time. The two biggest things that held me back on YouTube forever were my fear of not, basically just being too afraid to talk to people and really put myself out there in a big way on social, and the other one was a lack of focus, which even now I continue to refine. But lack of focus wasn't nearly as scary to me as just talking to people and getting to know people online, which is a really weird thing. I've always been very good about talking to people in person, but for whatever reason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those places where I could have left a comment or I could have really started getting into conversations with people, kind of the way I do here every morning now on these live streams, was something that was almost paralyzing to me, because I was convinced that someone would look at what I said and say, oh, you're a big idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, you're a fraud, or that opinion is stupid, or the kind of stuff you would normally assume the trolls would say. And once I did that stuff happen occasionally? Yeah, it did, but the margins are way in favor of wonderful people like yourselves, who've always been very kind, very supportive, very willing to engage in conversation and offer a lot of unique insights that I would not have on my own. And there's so much value in that, not just like as a content creator, but just like as a human being, right? Getting other people's perspectives and their views on things is a very, very important thing, I think. T-Melly, good morning, how's it going, man? That's what I did on one of your videos. Wait, what did you do on one of my videos? Do collabs on Halloween special. I will now take this idea as my own. Yes, by all means, steal whatever idea you get from this channel. I don't care. Good job, Beck. It is scary, to be honest. Yeah, or are you saying that that's how you and I connected? Was you left a comment on my channel or live stream back, and that's how we became friends? Because if so, great example. And one of the best friends I've made on YouTube. It is scary, to be honest. Normally when I have put myself out there, it's been slammed down, and that's great. It's awesome that you've been slammed down, because every time you get slammed down, as you put it, or you get rejected, or it's uncomfortable, or it doesn't feel great, you get a little bit better at it. It's not a fun process, but it is something that will better equip you to hear no or get rejected in the future, because you're going to get that all the time for the rest of your life in every arena of life. So, for me, when I get rejected, yeah, it never feels good. It stinks a little, for sure. But I also feel pretty good about it, because I know that I'm that much better at dealing with rejection, which is a constant in this life, much like death and taxes. Dark, but it is Halloween, so. I am the Pumpkin King. Man, Neo's losing his mind right now. It's great. Good morning again, my friend. Good morning to you, T-Belly. How's your Spooktober shaping up? I assume you've got some scary stuff that you're going to be doing on your channel this month, at least a little bit. Beck says, I like commenting on people's channels at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's fun talking to people. It is fun talking to people. Let's see. Where did I leave off? So yeah, I think that's the third one. So the first one is just make a video off the cuff, with no pre-planning whatsoever. The second is to make one that is just a completely different format than what you would normally do, just to see what happens for the fun of the raw experimentation, push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. And the same is true when it comes to starting a conversation with a new follower, a new subscriber, somebody you admire on social media, someone that you aspire to collaborate with. All those are good things, and they're scary things, and they're uncomfortable things, and I think that's what makes them great. So number 4, I would say, which is an extension of starting a new conversation, still starting a conversation with a person, but it's a little bit more intimidating if you're somebody who works in the gaming space, or if you're somebody who regularly does things like products or games on your channel. Email a company and ask for a review code or a review unit and just see what they say. Now, somebody who I think has good advice for this is actually Mikhail Casanova, and I think I'm going to be on his podcast in a week or two, maybe, if our schedules work out. But that dude's a networking machine. Like, if you ask me, like, what's his primary strength, I would say his ability to network and basically get in touch with a variety of different people who work in the gaming industry, whether that's publishers, developers, voice actors. He's a natural at it. He does very, very well at connecting with people. But one of the things I think a lot of people forget, one of the reasons I think companies come off so intimidating, is we look at a company as like this monolithic thing, right? Instead of what it actually is, which is basically a collection of people who are doing their best to make the best decisions that they can to ensure that the company remains profitable and that it can continue on. And that human element, I think, gets lost, because even if you look at the structure of a company, legally speaking, in the States, I'm not sure how it is in other countries, but we consider a company to be like its own legal entity. Like, it's a thing, like a person, which is kind of creepy. It's almost like the Borg Collective, right? But Ultimately, one of the cool things about working with companies is companies usually have a large reach on social media, for example. So, if you do something, or if you promote a product they have, or if you review something favorably and you stay in communication with them, it might be that they share things out on their social media and kind of give you a wider footprint when it comes to your social media presence or your brand's visibility. So there is value there, but again, the act of actually contacting a company can be really scary. And one of the best ways you can do it is just to look at their website or look at their social media and see who runs their social media accounts, figure out who the person is to get in touch with. Usually there's an email address floating around somewhere, and then sometimes a lot of these companies will basically have like a press kit, or they will have, a section on their website that provides all of the avenues for contact if you're somebody who's a content creator, if you work in the industry, if you're a reporter, journalist, something like that. And, that can be your in to contact somebody. And the goal here is not necessarily to win and get like an opportunity or a review, or a review code. The win is just making the ask, right? And I would not go in cold necessarily. I would try to make it, a company that you've already had experience with, maybe playing their games, or using their products. If you have videos on something they've already done, that already is a win, because if you contact them and you can demonstrate, hey, yeah, I've made videos about your stuff before, I really like it, but I'm curious about this, that might make it a little bit less scary and probably increase your odds of success if you are out to get a particular, game or product to review from them. 8-Bit Glitch, good morning. How are you? Fabian, hello. Scary hard game called Battletoads playing right now. That is a scary hard game. Although I still haven't played the new one yet, despite the fact that we played it at E3 and I said I was excited about it. True friends encourage bad spending habits / video game investments, and that's why you're the truest friend I have, Cynthia. I know most channels I really interact with are in America, so it's normally 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. or later. I gotcha. Not really at that stage yet. Yeah, and that's the whole point. Like, all of these assume that you're not at a stage yet. It's designed to make you uncomfortable. Sony US CEO is retiring. I did see that. I'm sure that'll be a topic on the Chillcast this weekend, which I don't think I'm going to be able to be on because I'm going back home to hang out with the family this weekend. That's true. Ever since I started talking to you peeps, I got peer pressured into so many games, like Dragon Quest Builders. Good peer pressure. Dragon Quest Builders is amazing. It's my forever game right now. It sounds paradoxical, right? My forever game right now. Could be a 3 a.m. challenge. You could call it networking at 3 a.m. challenge. Smaller channels in demand right now for sponsorships, review codes, etc. Smaller channels can connect better with their audiences, right? And Fabian's got an amazing point right here. And the reason that so many companies are more open to the idea of working with you than you would think is because word of mouth is still as powerful now as it was back in the days when the internet didn't exist and brick and mortar was all there was. A lot of companies live and die by word of mouth because they know that, first off, that's something you can't really just buy word of mouth in most cases. You can do media buys all day long. You can buy Google ads, you can buy, billboards, radio spots, TV spots, trailer spots, product placement. You can do all those things as a business, but one of the things you can't really do in a lot of cases is basically get a consumer to be an evangelist for your brand and talk about how great it is to their friends. But some people know how to do it. And again, it's one of the things that I constantly sort of preach on the channel is like, to give back to people or to see what you can do, see what you can do to serve somebody. And I'll tell you who did that recently that's a major company was Donatos. It's a goofy example to use, but they're getting continual returns because they happen to give me $10 for no reason at all. They just called me up. They're like, hey, you ordered pizza recently. We like that. Here's $10 towards your next pizza. And I wouldn't shut up about it. I put it out on social media and I tagged Donatos in sort of a cheeky way of saying, like, I don't know what your game here is, Donatos, but if you just want me to spread good vibes about your brand on social media, well, it's working. And I think this is the 6th or 7th time I've talked about it. And, that's the thing, right? That is way more valuable than just blasting out an ad on TV or something like that. It establishes a personal connection of sorts. Tech, hello! I'm planning on changing to a Halloween-themed icon this month. Very cool. I thought about doing the same thing, right? YourPlayerTwo or something like that. I have to work with Jason, though, to see if there's a way to make it look pretty. There is one company one special company I'd want to approach. Which one is that? Josh, I'm not even at 1,000 mark yet. Chill, sit, chill. Why would you have to be at 1,000? You don't have to be at 1,000. And that's the other thing, Neo. There are no gatekeepers in our industry, right? The only gatekeeper you have is yourself, right? If you, in the past, if you wanted to make a movie, if you wanted to get out with a podcast or be on radio, you had to please executives or producers or, basically all these people that said, yes, you're good enough, or no, you're not. And then if you weren't, you just kind of had to suck it up and keep trying, or just give up and do something more realistic, which I hate realistic, by the way. But, now you can do whatever you want, right? I mean, like, the floodgates are open if you're a creative who has something that they want to say. Fabian says that if you contact a company many times, they don't even check how big you are. It's all about how you conduct yourself when you can communicate with. Right. If you can conduct yourself in a professional way, a lot of companies will respond to that, and they don't care how many subscribers you have. I'm happy to try games that I normally wouldn't consider buying, but now the power of peer pressure. I know, right? It's profound. Epic Glitch. Chisu and Maiko make me want to pick up that game. Wait, which game are we talking about? Doraemon Story of Seasons? Is that the one that you were showing me yesterday, Beck? That's a scary bear holding a lollipop? What, in the background there? He's not holding a lollipop. That's a Beanie Baby, right? I for some reason in my box of Halloween decorations I had 2 Beanie Babies, which I may or not be part of a much larger collection I've squirreled away somewhere. And because I thought they were adorable and both ghosts of sorts, I thought they would look cute there, so I went for it. Making more than one video a week is scary to me, so I may try that. Yeah, dude. Just it doesn't have to be something crazy, right? And it doesn't even have to go on YouTube. Just, that's why I asked people to respond with that selfie video over the weekend when I put that out. And I was like, hey, what spooky stuff you got coming up on your channel? And like 4 or 5 people responded with videos, including YourPlayerTwo, Carly responded with a video. Who else? I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember. That's driving me crazy. But yeah, there were a few people that responded. That menacing Beanie Baby, it's not that. He's smiling. That's not even remotely menacing. The bear's a little more menacing, perhaps. A company actually contacted me on Facebook and gave me a code to purchase an HDMI switcher for $1.75 or $16 on Amazon. It worked and I got it, and they asked me to put a review on Amazon. I've been hit with those too. I did at least once on this channel. Now I basically don't play that game unless the product's outrageously good. Then I might consider it. But in a lot of cases, the thing that kind of bugs me about the Amazon sellers that contact me all the time, like, hey, review this. First off, a lot of the time they're not even relevant products. They're like, hey, review this showerhead. We watched your YouTube channel. We think this makes a lot of sense for your audience. Like, really? You think I'm going to be on here hawking showerheads? Maybe take another look. But the other thing that bugs me is I feel like it's completely disrespectful of the amount of time and work that we have to put in as creators to make content like that. If they're like, oh yeah, could you do like a 5-minute review on this? Dude, a 5-minute review, depending on how complex your product is, might be 30 or 40 hours of work. I mean, that might sound excessive, but especially if you're somebody who's not, well-versed in like editing and stuff like that, or post-production, you're trying to make something that looks nice with a professional presentation. Asking me to make a video for free, or just for a free product, I don't know, like, I could probably do a whole stream about that, and I probably will. I'm not going to dive into it now, because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings surrounding the topic. But it does, I do have issues with that. Mom says, good morning, coffee at home. This morning feels so nice. I'm glad to hear it, Mom. You're so happy that winter is approaching. Famous says, I DM'd the creator of Fight and Rage, and within 15 minutes gave me an Xbox code. Right, I did the same thing with Horizon Chase Turbo, and got a review code for that game. Exactly, Josh. It's smiling at you because I want you to have an amazing Halloween, Neo. My dad made me collect Beanie Babies when I was a kid in hopes that they would be worth a lot someday. Me and my mom, who's in the chat, we collected Beanie Babies. It was really just fun. I don't think it was really like, because I was, I think, like 8 or 9 years old. I think we kind of got into that. But it wasn't so much we were like, yeah, we're going to resell these. They're going to be worth a lot someday. We just enjoyed doing it. And it was a good memory that I had with my mom. Where am I at? I have a Beanie Bear. In fact, I may have money. Wait, what now? It's okay to be selective and say no to, yes, that's another stream that I'm doing, is the staggering power and how scary no isn't. But we'll get to that next time. So, just to recap the 4 challenges so far that I think make sense to pursue, things that I think will help you move forward as a creator and kind of as a person in a way. Again, that would be to make a video with no pre-production, no post-production, just off the cuff, have some fun with it. 2 would be to make a video that's completely outside the normal format that you would do, because oftentimes you will find just a tiny tweak to your format can get big returns or speak to people and be really exciting for your audience to mix it up a little bit. 3 is to start a conversation with a new follower, subscriber, or somebody on YouTube that you think that you might want to work with. 4 would be, like I just said, to email a company to ask for a review code, unit, or something, or something else, just to try to start a dialogue with that terrifying concept of a company, which again, it's just people, right? It's all about people. And then finally, the last challenge, and this is incredibly scary, and it's the thing that terrifies me the most out of all of them. Unplug for a full 24 hours. No YouTube, no social media. I mean, maybe a little bit of internet surfing, just for fun. Maybe check out some games or something. But essentially, completely disconnect from all communication, all production, all work for just 24 hours. One of the things that I've found, because I've fallen into this as well, is a lot of people will start to make some progress on their channel, and then they'll start to get really terrified at the prospect of it, because they'll be like, man, if I don't stay glued to this 24 hours a day, 365, everything's going to fall apart. And I've gotten to that place too, like if I missed a release or I missed a particular deadline, usually self-imposed pressure that I put on myself, that everything was just going to completely collapse in on itself. And what I found was that's not the case, and there's nothing wrong with taking a break. So the weird thing is, though, is a lot of people are terrified of taking a break because they mean like, "Ooh, what if that puts a huge dent in the progress I've made on YouTube or some other endeavor that I have online? If I'm not available every single minute of every single hour of the day, you'll be fine. I promise." Nobody, and at least one person I've talked to in the chat here, explained that they didn't put out content for a number of months and came back and still have people excited to see them. So if you decide to take a day for yourself this month, which I totally advocate for, I promise you, everything you've done will not collapse in on itself. Nothing will be disastrous. You won't come back to just everything in chaos and ruins. It's going to be fine. And that's something that I've struggled with. I tend to be kind of a workaholic. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I basically keep things moving from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. And then I had to start forcing myself on the weekends, be it on a Saturday or Sunday. Sometimes I go back and forth to not do anything. And I don't always hit the mark. I don't always succeed. But when I do always feel a little bit better. I feel a little bit more relaxed. And if Bill Murray is to be believed, again, the guy that was in Ghostbusters, I'm kind of shoehorning this in for relevance, you do your best work when you're relaxed. But it's not always something that's easy to do when there's a constant pressure of the numbers game of YouTube either. So those are my 5 points. Those are my 5 challenges. I think you should try at least one of these over the next week or so, or over the next month, I should say, in October, because they are kind of spooky. They're designed to get you out of your comfort zone. They were things to help me get out of my comfort zone. And then tomorrow's the community discussion piece, right? We usually do that on Wednesdays now. I think that's kind of the way I've positioned the morning stream for Wednesdays, community discussion. I think we should have a big discussion tomorrow morning about the things that scare you, things that scare me. I thought about just doing an AMA. I've never done an AMA before. I don't even know what you would ask, and I feel like we have a lot of transparent conversation anyway, so I guess it never really occurred to me. But that is a little bit scary to me. You could ask me anything, right? And I'm, again, willing to talk about anything except for that brief string of felonies in the late 90s that for legal reasons I cannot talk about. But beyond that, I feel like I'm a pretty open book in most cases. What? You missed my comment, so the company I would want to work with is Bandai. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think Mikkel's worked with Bandai, too. I think they're pretty open to that, actually. Have you ever had that moment where you saw something you've been wanting for a game and attempted to get it but couldn't? I have had that experience. Could have gone all winter without. I'm sorry, Mom. I know you hate the winter time. Some select Mini Babies are worth something. Most aren't worth the cost of making them now. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Unplugging is so important. That's my biggest challenge. Yeah, dude. I know you struggle with it. I know I struggle with it. So I try to make it a little bit more of a priority. Neo says, yeah, no, I can't afford to unplug at the moment. I'll do it when I've reached my first goal. Right, and that's the thing. Like, once you reach the next goal, are you going to be just headed towards the next one? Sushi says, Josh is making us go camping in the spooky forest. My precious electronics, I will be fine. I'm not saying go camping in a creepy forest. Although there is a haunted experience nearby that I've considered doing that does exactly that. And they, like, apparently depending on the level of fear you sign up for that haunted experience, they'll, like, drag you out of your tent in the middle of the night and put you in a coffin and sit on it. Terrifying. Probably too terrifying for me, actually. I know, right, Sushi? Evil Josh is here today, apparently. Your Slayer, too. Oh, you mean take a break? Still, when I get a solar upgrade, I'm not sure I follow you there, but I still think breaks are important, Shablanky Boink. What, there's tea? Wait, because of an AMA? See, that's why I don't want to do an AMA, you psycho. What is AM&A? I've heard of Q&A, but never AMA. AMA is Ask Me Anything, meaning that I would get on here presumably tomorrow, and you could ask me whatever you wanted. Like, how many Pop-Tarts did you eat this morning? I know you've been loading up. And then I would have to be like, the whole box. Kind of off topic, I was planning on doing a horror Halloween themed stuff this month, but I think everyone is going to be doing that, so should I just do something else? You could. There is some wisdom in going against the grain of what everybody else is doing, and some people might just be sick to death of Halloween content. But you could still do Halloween content, but then just do it in a way that's different from everybody else, right? Maybe you do wear a different costume every day that you stream or something like that. I'm not sure what it would be, but, you know, I think there are always ways to tweak the format and do what is traditionally seen as, you know, just very common content in a very different way. You know, I would say that either one would be okay. Like, you could try to go completely the opposite direction if you wanted to. Like, just do, like, a month of Christmas stuff. Like, I know you guys are excited about Halloween, but I don't care about that. I'm only talking about Santa Claus for the next 30 days and all the amazing games he's been in. But, you know, you've got options, right? That's up to you. You're the creator. You forgot number 6, do something illegal. Jakin, why do you do these things? You're a horrible influence. Ibido, do whatever you want to do, doesn't matter others. Give it your own spin, right. Like Fabian's saying. I take breaks, maybe okay, maybe not. You should take breaks. But that's the other thing. Some people are like, they're like, ooh, I don't want to do anything because I'm not taking a break, but they haven't worked at all on their channel in months, right? They'll think about it. They'll talk about how they're going to do it someday, And then if they're like, I don't know, I've been doing a whole lot of thinking, I need to take a break. That's just procrastination masquerading as, you know, a necessary break, I think. And it's very easy to deceive yourself into being like, you can work on the wrong things and feel like you've done something that not really accomplished much. Like, there have been days where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go work on the website for 2 hours, and then I just sort of surf the web for 2 hours or mess around on Twitter, and then at the end of 2 hours I haven't really done anything. Then I'm like, whew, boy, this is rough. I'm gonna have to take a half day tomorrow. I did so much work today. Yeah, that's another trap that's easy to fall into. Have you ever played a guitar? I have played a guitar, an acoustic Ovation guitar, I believe. Joshua talked about I had 74 people on my House of the Dead stream last night. Super. I should have swung in for that. I'm sorry, man. I was watching something with my my dad, and then I streamed Dragon Quest XI. I hope you do it again, though, because I was excited for that. What kind of monsters get sick of Halloween? I know. Who are these savages? Where do they live, Fabian? Many people have trouble understanding me. What do you mean? Like, in terms of, like, your delivery? Or do you mean you just have some really bizarre concepts that you speak about, tech? Or Shaboinky Boink, sorry. That's an incredible showing, though. That's awesome, Fabian. Don't do illegal things unless you're at least 75% sure. I'm not going to play those odds, friend. I've already started seeing Christmas trees in Costco in September. I don't doubt it. We do love Christmas here in the States. I won't be doing anything Halloween related. Well, that makes sense. You know, you don't do Halloween over in Australia, right? It's okay. You can live vicariously through our Halloween content back. Josh, sir, okay, I think I will take 2 of your challenges. Remind me again, please, quickly. Yes, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to have to jump off here because I'm getting ready to have to do some work stuff. But just to recap, the 5 things that I think to challenge yourself this October, push yourself out of your comfort zone, do something a little bit scary to really set that tone of fear for the rest of the month in terms of being a content creator. 1 is to make a video with 0 post-production, pre-production, just something completely off the top of your head. Maybe it's a live stream, maybe it's a quick video you throw up on Twitter. Just, you know, try something without worrying too much about making it perfect and just get it out there and see what happens, right? Surprise yourself. 2 would be to make a video that doesn't require production and everything, but something that's different than the format you normally do, right? Just try a different format and see if it works for you. Maybe that's doing a list format, maybe that's doing a let's play, maybe that's doing a live stream for the first time. Whatever it is, something that's outside the norm of what would be expected from your channel, still the same topic or you know, content type, but in a completely different format, and just see how it works out for you. 3 would be to start a conversation with somebody who is a complete stranger online, whether that's, you know, a channel you admire, maybe it's somebody who follows you on Twitter who you've never given the time of day to speak to and have a real conversation with. Whatever it is, you know, get in the habit of, or at least try the scary thing of just connecting with somebody in a very real way and starting just a human conversation. Next up will be to email a company to ask for a review code, review unit, maybe it's a product or something like that, or maybe just get a dialogue started, or maybe you don't even ask for anything. Maybe you just contact the company and say, hey, I just want to let you know I really love your product, I run a channel, if there's ever anything we can do to work together, I think that would be really fun, but have a great day. Don't overthink it. Just simple. Try the scary thing of contacting a company, which again is just a collection of people, right? It's not like a Borg-like sci-fi entity. And then finally, unplug for 24 hours. If you've been putting in the work and you're just constantly like, you're just grinding on YouTube over and over, if you're constantly, you know, like doing pre-production, filming, editing, scripting, uploading, marketing, you know, optimization, all those things, and you're just on a constant grind 24 hours a day, 365, or if you're constantly on social, you know, just at the behest of every notification that pops up on your phone, give yourself some mental margin. Give yourself an emotional break. Take a breath for 24 hours. I promise you it will be worth it. Not worth doing unless you have that 25% chance of getting caught. Maybe a 5% chance, but yeah, don't do anything illegal. Don't listen to Jake and don't listen to Shaboinky Boink. This is terrible advice. 0 post or pre-production done that. I could do the first 2, and that's the thing. Like, if you normally come by these streams, you'll come back tomorrow morning, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it. You know, maybe I'll do the Ask Me Anything for tomorrow's like community discussion stream, which is I think that's what's going to be home for Wednesdays for the morning stream. But right now I have to take off and get to work. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day. I hope you guys are just as excited about October as I am, because I'm super pumped for it. And I know you are, Fabian. And I'm going to try to keep hammering on fear-based topics for most of the month, and then in the evenings I'm going to be streaming almost exclusively scary games, which I'm not looking forward to because I am a big scaredy cat who suffers tremendously when it comes to jump scares. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys now. Thank you again for taking the time out of your morning. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you either later tonight or tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern right here. So take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.